as we are going through the series of the etiquettes of fasting, we talked about the importance of accepting the obligation of Allah Azza wa Jal with a very positive approach and trying to make this as an opportunity for us to get closer to Allah and grant His and achieve His pleasure. Now, going on to the second adab, when a person starts to fast, the first and foremost thing that comes in is the intention, which is very primarily obligation in regards to fasting, what type of fast you're keeping. If it's an optional fast, then the intention window is pretty much longer till midday. But if it's a fard or if it's a wajib fast, then that window closes at the time of dawn. This is when the Fajr time begins. A person needs to have the intention before that, before he can get into his fast. Because a'mal, they depend on the intention of individuals. The next etiquette that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam emphasized when it came to fasting is partaking of suhoor. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Tasahharu fa inna fi suhoori barakatun." That make sure you partake your suhoor before starting your fast, because eating suhoor is a source of barakah and a source of getting the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the angels of Allah azza wa jal descend blessings upon the individual who partake their suhoor, as Imam Ahmed has mentioned this narration in his Masjid. Now, suhoor is something that is physically beneficial as well as spiritually beneficial. Physically, because it's an assistant towards your fast. It helps you to keep yourself energetic throughout the entire day when a person is fasting. A lot of people, what they do is to avoid the morning waking up, they just take the suhoor at night and then go to sleep. Or after Taraweeh prayer, they have their full course meal, and then after that, they just sleep through the entire time until Fajr and wake up to pray their Fajr. This is, however, permissible, but it makes you lose the barakah of your fasting. When you want to fast, you want to receive all the barakah. And barakah lies in partaking of suhoor. But if you skip the suhoor, then the barakah of the fast is gone. Now, what is the barakah of this fast? The barakah of the fast is that it helps and assists you by making your fast according to the guidelines that have been put forward by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A person, he is not as much as hungry when he partakes of suhoor. A person, he is not as thirsty when he has suhoor. And then similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps him in a stage that where he is able to take maximum benefit through his fasting by performing those things and performing ibadah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed. So all of these great things, they are connected with suhoor. It's not just about the physical health, it's also spiritually that when we take importance or when we give importance to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then barakah comes into your life. فَإِنَّهُ مِن سُنَنِ الْهُدَى, as the Sahaba used to say, that indeed the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are from guidance. And whoever takes upon these guidance, Allah Azza wa Jal paves a way for him to Jannah. So now when it comes to suhoor, is it a limit? Where, when, how? So suhoor is something that is a meal that is eaten right before the time of fasting starts. So up to the time of fasting, that you are allowed to have your suhoor, and when the time of fasting starts, at that time you should stop eating, otherwise your fasting will not count. And it doesn't have to be a specific type of meal. Even dates and water are sufficient to be called as suhoor, as hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that even drinking water at that time can be contributed towards having to take your suhoor. So these are some etiquettes. Partaking of suhoor is something that we should consider and give importance to. And we're going to have suhoor anyway, but to have it with the intention that I am having the meal of barakah. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that having suhoor is a barakah. And when we have that understanding that I'm having the meal of barakah, that it brings a different feeling in the heart of an individual than to have any other meal. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the understanding. We ask Allah to give us the ability to practice on this etiquette. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka.